Check, check, check. Don't have. Check, check, check. Hold on a second. Sorry, didn't realize I didn't have my speakers on. Okay. Check 1, 2. Hey, Emery, can you hear me now? There's iPhone. All right. Hello, hello. Hello, iPhone. Who is this? Okay. I cannot hear who that is. I heard you moving something, but I can't hear who that. Hello. Hey, there's Parker. Hello, Parker. Parker, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey.
How's it going?
Oh, it's going really good. How are you?
I'm great.
Hey, Noah. Ugh. Hey, Noah, can you hear me? Noah, can you hear me? Anybody know? Oh, shoot. Anybody know where that's from? Any Broadway music fans? I know you're a closet Broadway fan. A closet Broadway fan. In other words, you're secretly a Broadway fan. So Silver. So's JC. They're all right. Hey, can you guys hear me on Zoom?
Yes.
Okay. Checking to make sure y'all can hear me. So what's up, everybody? Emery was on. What happened to Emery? Did she?
She can't really. They're having trouble connecting.
Okay. All right. Why is it I can't spotlight my video? Is it spotlight for everyone? I think that's it. That might have fixed it. And Ethan's joining us on YouTube. What's up, Ethan, on YouTube? And here's Emery. Emery should be joining us now. All right. Emery's in the process of joining us. Uh-oh. What did I do with the... Oh, I put them up there. Oof. Oh. Bruh. Did everybody get my message that I sent out?
Yes.
Did you get it? Did you get it? On Instagram? Okay. All right. Are you following our Instagram page? That might not be why. All right. If you, yeah, thank you. Because I was about to say, if you'll do that right now, I'll make sure you get the message, and all future messages. Do what? What about the fact they got ripped off? That was ridiculous. The Hogs got ripped off last night. They
Oh, that was
would have
awful.
won. They would have won. Referees sided with Auburn, as is the normal case, I think. Yeah. I love the fact that you said I was playing video games. You went to a party? What? You went to a party? Partying up? Did you have a good time? Well, that's good. I'm hoping this is the right one. Yes, there it is. Yeah, they got robbed. They got robbed so bad. They got robbed bad. Hey, those of you joining us on Zoom, if you will let me know if there's some sort of weird audio issue, if I start cutting out or something, let me know. So that way I can fix it, because I don't want you guys to miss out on stuff. What's up? It's Lexi and Allison. How are you guys? What's up, y'all? I'm so glad y'all are here. All right, let's see. All right, 7th through 9th. If you're 7th through 9th, raise your hand. I should know this by now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ethan is joining us. 5. Emery's joining us. 6. All right. All right, and 10th through 12th. 1, 2, Parker, Noah, 4. All right. All right. How is everybody? How are y'all? Y'all went to a wedding last night. I saw that. Looked like y'all had a good time. Outdoor weddings are so much fun. They're fun. I like outdoor weddings. They're a lot of fun. But they're super hard to plan. Hey, Jeff, do you need me? No, but that's like really loud. I can turn it up. It just quit. I do. Hold on a second. I'll run and get it. Hold on. The TV speakers just gave out. I had a feeling they were going to give out. They do that all the time. All right. Hey, everybody still on Zoom that's still there? Y'all unmute yourself, please, so I can make sure. Can y'all hear me still?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. You guys might be seeing me having to do that more in Sunday school. We'll see. Dogs losing was terrible. It was the worst. All right. So, okay. Before we go any further, just a couple of announcements. Big thing here. Let me just read this to you in case y'all haven't heard. Sunday night, we'll be on Zoom for 30 minutes. Okay. We will not be meeting here. Y'all will be at home on Zoom for 30 minutes. And JC, I'll make sure you can get that link for us. That way, if you want to come to church, you can come to church. Only for about, at least for this week, we are just doing church. For this Sunday and next Sunday, we're just doing church in Sunday school. And Zoom will be online. Wednesday night, we're going to be on Zoom. Okay. Now, this doesn't mean that you can't participate, that we can't do camo night. We're still going to do camo night. You're going to be at home. And this is what I want to encourage you to do. We don't want to walk with you to your bathroom, okay? All right, we don't want to walk with you all over the place. We want you to set up a specific spot in your house, and I'm going to send a note to your parents this week, and to where you can be in this place, whether it's at your desk in your bedroom, or if it's the kitchen table for you, wherever it is for you. So that way you can still participate. We'll stream it to YouTube, but we're going to be focusing on Zoom. And so I want to encourage you guys to still participate with Camo Night. Go crazy with it. You can even make your background on Zoom. If you have an Android device, if you have a iPhone device, you can make it like a virtual background, however you want to do with it. And so we're going to be doing that on Zoom. We're still going to compete in our squad competitions on Zoom. And in case you weren't here Wednesday, it is not too late for you to join or form a squad, okay? So, but Wednesday night is going to be virtual on Zoom. We're still going to do Camo Night. Still going to be doing competitions on Zoom. Our youth versus old folks Bago tournament that we had scheduled for the 18th, that's being moved 25th. And this is only for youth stuff. So we're still having church. As far as I know, we are still having church, okay? So keep coming. You can still come to that. All right. Does everybody understand that? Anybody have any questions? And this is mainly just a precaution thing. Okay. All right. Y'all have any questions or anything about that? Okay. So, what about you guys on Zoom that are joining us? Do you guys have any questions? You can unmute your mic and say yes or no.
No.
Okay.
Nope.
All right. And so, I'm glad you guys are joining us on Zoom. Glad you guys are a part of us. This is just what we have to do, and we may have to do this, a couple more times. We've been very fortunate that we haven't had to do anything like this since youth started meeting back. So that's an awesome thing. And so, it's just, but anything can happen. And so it's better to be safe than it is to be sorry. You know what I'm saying? So, But I'm glad you guys are here. I'm glad you guys are joining us on Zoom. I would love to be able to share the video with you guys, but unfortunately, because of copyright, cannot do that. But you can watch it through your video screen, and I'll do my best to, and we can see about if the audio is not really great, we'll work it out. So we'll work it out anyway. Who's been a good example to you? Parents, all right. Grandparents, yes. All right, who else? Who else has been a good example to you? Teachers, all right. Do what? Well, you're right. I mean, all right. Anybody else have who's a good example to you? Maybe do you all have any coaches that are good examples to you? Yeah. So, well, anyway, I already talked about that. I don't know why that is. But, we're supposed to, today we're going to be talking about how we can honor all relationships. We've been talking about like honoring life. We've talked about like, honoring, being respectful of everybody and what that means to kind of really be like a pro-life sort of person. We talked about honoring how sacred marriage is, and we've talked about, honoring our parents and the benefits of that. And today we're going to spend some time just honoring life and being kind and courteous to everybody. I have this video, and you might recognize the person in the video. Anybody ever watch, anybody watch Hotel Transylvania? You ever seen those movies? Or anybody ever watch the TV show King of Queens? Or the movie Here Comes the Boom? Or The Zookeeper? Anyway, the guy is Kevin James, and he does these little shorts. You might have seen some of them on TikTok. He does these, he's the sound guy, to where he's like in a famous movie and it looks like he's in there, but he's not. Anyway, he does this little short, and it's called Miss. And so I just want you to check this out and watch this. Talk about it for a second. So incredibly dramatic over a wave, right? I mean, have you ever done that? Have you ever waved at somebody because you thought that they were waving at you? You ever said hello to somebody and you thought that and it turns out that they weren't saying hello to you? Does that ever happen to y'all? Or am I the only one? No, it's happened to you, Lexi? It's like the weirdest, most embarrassing thing in the world, because it's like you think you know that person, or even when you do know that person, and you're like, hey, and it's like, and then all of a sudden it's like this person just emerges out of nowhere and says, and then it's like, oh, I'm so terrible. But and so yeah, that can be quite embarrassing. But one of the things is that you can kind of pull from that is that we should kind of, just love others and point them to Christ in the ways that we live. I mean, that's, I've waved at somebody and I've learned to, like, if somebody is right there and they wave at me, I quickly look at them and be like, oh, hey, how are you? And I just try to make them feel, because that's such an embarrassing thing. And so we're going to spend some time unpacking that, kind of talk about this idea about, how, we should really be respectful of everybody and just kind of treat people with dignity and respect. Let's look at Exodus 20:15 through 16. Open up your Bibles. We've been starting out, like, for the past couple weeks in the 10 Commandments. And so Exodus 20:15 through 16. It's also going to be on the screen. You guys can join us through your app at home, or if you have a Bible at home. Do what? Oh. Somebody want to read this out loud? Go ahead, Will.
Do not steal. Do not give false testimony against your neighbor.
All right. Well, I didn't realize that you wanted to read it out loud. I feel so bad, Silver. I'm so sorry. Here I am talking about how we should honor life, and I totally just rejected you about, like, So I promise I will let you. Please read the next one. Please let me make it up to you. Please, Silver, be the hero that we need. All right. So yeah, do not steal. Do not give false testimony against your brother or against your neighbor. Let me read what this guy said. This author, this person that wrote this. Recently, I sold an item through a social media marketplace, and when the buyer picked up the item, he handed me cash. I counted the money to make sure there was no misunderstanding or room for accusation of wrongdoing either way. When I counted the money, it turns out he'd give me $60 over our agreed price. So I kindly said, here you go. You've given me too much. And as I handed him the difference, this man had a stunned look on his face. Wow, thanks for being honest. That's pretty cool. Well, you can go ahead and come up here. We'll work through the issues. I appreciate you jumping in there and having somebody join. Because, I mean, that's kind of a rare thing, right? It's like, you ever, like, find, like, and you've probably seen these videos of, like, what would you do in this situation? Somebody loses a wallet or something like that. What would you do? Like, if you saw $1,000 lying on the floor in a restaurant, what would you do?
I check to see if there's, like, a name in the money.
Okay. All right. No name in the money. What would you do? It gets a little harder, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah. All right. Do what? If it was just you, you'd what? I appreciate the honesty with that. I appreciate that. All right. So don't lose any money around Will or Chris, because they will buy a PS5 with. No, I'm just kidding. What would y'all do? What if you saw somebody being bullied? What would you do? Do what? Fend for themselves? Would you do? You're just kind of like,
I like talk to Julie about it so she can deal with it, but, like, I'm not gonna be like, oh,
there you go.
I'm not doing that.
Using principal power right there. Yeah. All right. What would you do, Allison? What would you do if, like,
I feel like I wouldn't say anything in the moment.
you wouldn't say anything in the moment? All right. What would you do after the moment? Would you for real just point and go, I said stop?
Yeah, see, I couldn't even,
All right.
I would laugh.
All right.
And then they'd come at you.
Well, Allison, what if somebody hit another car and walked away? What would you do? Like, it was parked and somebody hit it, and then they just got out of the car and ran. What would you do? All right. That's good. All right. What
Mr.
about-
Richard,
Do I? What? Yes.
I know what I would do if somebody hit a car and ran.
Uh-oh. What would you do?
You take a picture of their license plate and you turn them into the police.
There you go. Yeah, that's a good one way of doing it. Yeah. All right, JC. All right. You see you see somebody robbing a bank, what would you do? All right, there you go. You mean, I'm so glad you did not say I would be like, oh, it's not my problem. And I'm also glad you didn't say I'd jump in and be like, hey, you can't do that, because that would, yeah. But yeah, we all handle things differently, and those are not like wrong things. Maybe the pocketing the money for buying PlayStations might be a little bit of an issue, but but all right, you know. Oh, there's no name. There's a name right there. Shh. But yeah. But see, the thing of it about us, and I believe you guys would be very just really honorable. You know, the thing about, you know, with this is, you know, the idea behind do not steal, do not give false testimony against your neighbor. The idea of this is really to conduct yourself honorably. It's to be, you know, it's to have integrity for like who you are as a person and in your actions. That's kind of the heart of the 10 Commandments is being a person that is honorable, that is in integrity. Our words should show respect for the other person. To be fair, to be honest, to be kind in our treatment of others. Does that happen an awful lot? Like, do you think that like people are honest at heart? Depends on the person. Like overall, everybody, if you were to sum up humanity, would you say no? I kind of think you're right. I think that, I mean, there are good people. There are some really awesome people. Truth of it is that like, you know, the world, how the world acts is it's all about them getting it for yourself, to your own self, you know, to focus on yourself, to be you, to be what's best for you, to do what makes you feel right, right? And that's kind of how things are with the world. And yet we who are Christians, we're called to live differently. Instead of focusing on ourselves, or to focus on others. And the way that we do that is to do so in a manner that shows our integrity, shows our honesty. You know, now I'm not saying jump into any sort of fight if a bully is beating up somebody. You don't jump in because all of a sudden it moves from the person that they're beating up to you. And then that's probably not going to solve anything. But do other things like, you know, go take care of that person, go tell a person in authority about it, you know, that sort of thing. Loving one another includes speaking the truth in love at all times. And sometimes, because sometimes we don't want to say something to somebody because, well, I don't want them mad at me. But if you really care about them, and if they genuinely care about you, you need to say something. You need to speak. You need to say something, but do so in love. And we've talked about that here on Wednesday nights. We ought not to lie. And that can be hard. You ever lied so you get out of trouble? It does always catch up better. Yeah. All right. It's the worst, right? Like when you lie and you get caught with it. That's kind of the thing is with lying, is that it does find you out, like Silver said. You know, do what? You are genius. You are awesome. But when we operate outside the virtues of the kingdom, anything we do outside of what the kingdom calls the virtues of loving another, being forgiving, you know, standing up for what's right, speaking truth in love, we're displaying, when we step outside of that, we're not displaying the truth of who God is. And instead, we're kind of reflecting on the opposite of God. And who's the opposite of God? Satan, right? You know, Satan is the one that says, focus on yourself, do what's best for you. It's all about you. And God says, do unto others. You know, God says, love others, forgive others. And so that's, we're to call, but besides, by the way, the devil is the father of lies. And his goal is absolute destruction. And that's the thing, is that he knows the focus of the self leads to destruction. And God teaches us to focus on others because that's the way that leads to the destruction. Living a life of integrity means modeling our thoughts, modeling our words, our actions after God, which is easy when things go well, right? It's easy when when things like, everything's great, like, you're just having the best day ever. When you're around everybody that you love, when you're around everybody that you just care for, when that special someone in your life just says to you, hey, I like you, will you go out with me? And you say yes. Or you ask that person that you like, will you go out with me? And when you're having the best day, it kind of is easy to follow after God. But the truth of the matter is that we're called to follow God every day, even when we get made fun of, even when we get rejected, even when we have the worst day ever. We're called to follow after God. Let's kind of unpack that a little bit more. Exodus 20:17. Who would like to read that? Maybe we should all just start saying silver, 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 silver. All right, go ahead. Good job, Chris. All right, go ahead, Chris.
Do not covet your neighbor's house. Do not covet your neighbor's wife, his male or female servant, his ox or donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor.
All right, thank you. Aesop's fables include the story of a dog crossing a bridge with a bone in his mouth. And as he looks into the water, he sees a reflection of what he thought was an even larger dog with what seemed like an even larger bone. So he wanting the bigger bone, the dog immediately opened up his mouth and quickly sunk to the bottom and out of reach. Not only did the dog fail to get the bigger bone he wanted, but he also lost the one he had been enjoying all along. What's the point of that story? Be grateful for what you have. Don't focus on what you don't have, right? Not being satisfied with what we already have is the quickest path toward losing it. And sometimes we have this struggle, right? We get tired, we get excited about our phone, but are you still as excited today as you were the day you got your phone? No, because it's old, right? It's slow. It does all these things that are weird and stuff like that. And the problem is that when we, focus on what we do have, we're trapped in this kind of prison of wanting what everybody else has. Not being satisfied with what we already have, like I said, is the quickest path toward losing it. And you guys see this you guys see this idea of always being in want. You see it on TV, like the happiest thing, or if, especially around Christmas time, which we're about to celebrate in a couple of weeks, right? Start celebrating in about a month. Well, we have Thanksgiving, but pretty soon, as soon as like November, right, there's still Halloween, but as soon as November 1st hits, you're going to start seeing more and more ads towards Christmas. You'll see ads about Thanksgiving, but you're going to see more and more ads. And it's always like the perfect Christmas is always like this big, impressive gift, right? Like, which blows my mind. How in the world can somebody get away sneakily with buying a car and like not even, like all of a sudden you look outside and it's the husband's like, honey, I got you this car. Oh, it's the best Christmas ever. And it's snowing and somehow they're in snowy mountains. I mean, it's always this idea of like it's always about a thing. And that's not the way it needs to be. Contentment isn't found in what we have. And that's kind of the heart of what this commandment is. Don't covet, because that's not where contentment, that's not where happiness is found in. Contentment is realizing that God has met our needs and choosing to live in gratitude. Contentment is this: it's being happy with old clothes as with new, trendy designer items. Because in both cases, you're wearing clothes for one thing. You have clothes and they keep you warm when you need to. It's also taking as much pleasure in living in a like a small part, like well as a 5-bedroom house. Both provide a roof over your head. Contentment is being satisfied with the hot dog on a, as with like, you know, a filet mignon, which I've never had filet mignon. So I don't even know what that tastes like. I know it's good, but you know, because the bottom line is what? You have food to eat, right? Now, I would say, you know, that there are, you know, certain things that we do have needs for, but we have to keep those needs in check with like wild and crazy things. And there's nothing wrong with like wanting a new phone or wanting a new, you know, computer or a new car. There's nothing wrong in that. The problem is when we base our, I don't know what in the world's happening with my computer. When we base that on like how we decide how happy we are. And if you're only happy when you have something new, when you're only happy if you have the latest thing or whatever, there's a problem with that. But when we live with a content mindset, we are acknowledging the goodness of God and his provisions, whatever they are. We allow gratitude to replace a spirit of dissatisfaction. Think about this. People, you probably have friends or people that you know that are always complaining about what they don't have. Are they fun to be around? No, they're not, right? Why are you looking back there at them? But they're not. They're not fun to be around. They're irritating, right? They're annoying. Sometimes you just want to, you know, not be very nice to them because all they do is complain about what they don't have. I went to Greenbrier High School, and the food was always pretty good. But whenever I went, I don't know how the food is now. I'm assuming it's still pretty good. But like, I had a friend that I would sit with, and there'd be a group of us, we'd sit together, and every day he would complain about something with his food. And one time, another friend of mine, he just got sick of it, and he says, "Shut up! You have food to eat. Be quiet." And that's the kind of how it is. You know, when people are not content with something, it's always something that they're not happy with, and it's always a complaint. It's always this, and they're hard to be around. Now, the people that are content, like, and you have friends that are always like, you know, "Hey, I'm good. I got this. I'm good. It's okay." You know, they're kind of easier to be around with, right? Because they don't focus on what they don't have. For them, you know, their value of life is not based in stuff. As believers, that's how we are to be. We're to not base our value, our worth on the type of stuff that we have. And we have to be happy with what we have instead of focusing on what we don't have. And that's what it means. That's the thing with coveting. Coveting, do you all know what it means to covet? It's jealousy. It's wanting simply what you don't have that somebody else has. Okay. And David is an example of this. And David covets Bathsheba. And how does that work out for him? Nothing. It doesn't work out at all. In fact, it goes really kind of sideways. And he faces the repercussions of that for years. See, coveting kind of always leads to, and when you covet, and if you get jealous of something, you really start to kind of diminish who that person is. You diminish like the worth and the value of that person. We as Christians are not called to do that. All right, somebody read 1 through 3 of Psalm 37. We're going to wrap this up. Somebody read that. Go ahead. I think you should. See, this is my rule. When you volunteer somebody, that means you get volunteered. All right, go ahead. Silver, read this, and then I'll get somebody to read the other 3 verses. Come on. I need somebody to read. Somebody that's not Will or Chris. Go ahead, Allison. Awesome. All right, and then 4 through 6. I need that read, please. Somebody that's not Will, Chris, or Allison. This is the last one. This is the last one. He can't read. He's already read.
Can people on Zoom read?
Yes, people on Zoom can read. Look at that.
Okay,
Coming
I
in
want to
the
read.
save. All right, go ahead, E. Go ahead.
Okay. Take delight in the Lord, and he will give you your heart's desires. Commit your way to the Lord, trust in him, and he will act, making your righteousness shine like the dawn and your justice like the noonday.
Silver is forever grateful that you stepped in and saved her like the hero. That's good job. Good job. Silver gives you a thumbs up. She thinks that you are awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So it says, do not be agitated by evildoers. Do not envy those who do wrong. He goes on to say, take delight in the Lord and he will give you your heart's desires. That's the core with anything. With us as believers, these words, by the way, which are from King David, they capture the heart of this commandment to not steal, to not bear false witness, to not lie about somebody, to not covet. David kind of captures the heart of that by saying, take delight in the Lord, focus on who God is. And the amazing thing, this is what happens anytime you start focusing on God. Is those things that you thought you had to have for happiness, those, just feeling like those things tend to subside when you base your contentment, when you base your life in what God would have for you. Take delight in the Lord, and he will give you your heart's desires. Now, that doesn't mean, okay, I want you to understand that. Don't take 37:4 and be like, okay, that means I can ask. As long as I'm like loving God, that means that I can ask God for whatever I want. He's got to give it to me. That's not how that works. The thing that happens is when you take delight in the Lord and he gives you the desires of your heart, when you focus on God, what that means for you is that you completely focus on God. All of a sudden, the things that were your wants are really what God would have for you. The desires that you have start turning into what God desires for you. So it's not, God is not this wish giver. He's not a Santa Claus. He's a God who helps you be the better that you can be the best that you can be. He's a God that calls you to be a reflection of him. And as you take delight in who God is, he gives you fulfillment, he gives you purpose, he gives you contentment. And that's what the heart of this all is. And when we do that, we honor people. When we do that, we respect people. When we do that, we can speak truth and love because love just kind of flows out of us. And that, that means that we can say, hey, this is not okay. Hey, this is not all right. Because our contentment is based in God and God alone. So the next time you're tempted to envy others, remember that God owns it all. And he will never run out of the things that we need. God is faithful to provide exactly what we need. And when we understand this, we can experience this contentment and joy in this life. And that's the secret. It comes through knowing that that all we have and all we do comes through Christ, who provides all that we need. So the challenge for you, if I can challenge you this week, is this: to be honorable, to be respectful of people. If you see something happening that you know is wrong, stand up for it. However that looks like, if it's something like, if you see an instance of bullying, or if you know something that's happening, go and tell somebody. Don't not say anything, because it just gets worse. Or the challenge for you might be simply be content with what you do have. Be content with what you do have. But focus on what God has for you. And when you do that, when you focus on what God has for you, those things that you felt that were so important, they tend to just fade away in comparison to what God has for you. Y'all, I'm so glad that y'all came today. I realize it's going to be kind of crazy the next couple of weeks, but it'll be okay. We will get through it. I'm glad that y'all are here. Please, I just want to encourage you guys. Please join us on Zoom. Don't like be like, oh, we have no youth tonight, or oh, we don't. Please join. I know it's not ideal. I much prefer seeing you guys face to face, but if that means that the only way I get to see y'all is through Zoom, then hey, I want to see y'all through Zoom. So Wednesday, and it'll be normal time, 6:30. And so we won't have youth Wednesday night. We won't have discipleship training here. We will have it on Zoom on Sunday and Wednesday. Do y'all have any questions about that? Love you guys. I'm so glad y'all are here.
I have a question, Mr. Richard.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
How are we gonna give you our cans?
You will hold on to the cans, and I will make cans when we do come back. I will make it to where they are worth double points. Like instead of 100 points per can, they'll be 200
Okay.
per can. So, and if we have to miss an additional week, well, there'll be 300 points per can. So, all right. And Amigo Locos is on the line. So, like I said, if you're not part of a squad, we can get you into a squad. Or if you want to form your own squad, you can form your own squad if you haven't been. I know y'all weren't able to be here this past Wednesday, but so yeah. So any questions? Camo night is Wednesday night. Camo night is Wednesday night. That almost doesn't rhyme, but it's still cool to say it like that. Okay, maybe it's not, but anyway. Love you guys. Let's pray, and then I just want to encourage you guys, wear your mask as you walk down the stairs, as you go into the sanctuary. Just be mindful and respectful of people, as you guys are. Let's pray. Father God, thank you so much for just allowing us to get to be here, Father. Lord, I pray that you I would pray that we focus on our contentment in you. I pray that we don't try to swindle people or try to do things that we're not supposed to do, or to people that we know are wrong, Father. I pray that we take delight in you, and that as we do that, Father, I pray that you change our hearts and our minds to be more reflective of you. Be with those that are not able to be here today. Be with those that are home because of whatever reason. And it's in your name I pray. Amen. All right, guys. Love you guys. Thanks for coming. See y'all tonight at 5:30. It'll be 30 minutes on Zoom tonight. So thanks for coming. Y'all take care. Thanks for watching us on Zoom and YouTube.
Bye.
Bye.